What's up, Focus fam? Happy Wednesday. It's the Chan Man. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. And as always, got to get better daily. Hope you guys are doing that. In this video, guys, as always, I want to share my thoughts on the market, talk about a few events that are going to make an impact this week, discuss some earnings, discuss some setups, and let's all finish this week strong. So let's dive right in. First thing I want to share with you guys is the following. I recommend going to this website, and you guys can copy this link. But if you go to NasdaqTrader.com, you can download what's called the trading calendar for the year. And obviously, we'll need to get the new one here in a few months. But really want to focus, guys, on this calendar because this is a calendar that's going to teach you about some events that aren't really talked about elsewhere. There's things like economic calendars that have excuse me, job reports, Fed calendars, things like that. But we also really want to dial in on the trading calendar because this really breaks down certain events that are going to impact the market and also events that happen in the options world that are going to impact the overall market. And again, the more that we can be aware of these things and then understand their implications in the market, we can make better decisions, right? Always want to be informed. Excuse me, guys. So again, go grab this link, guys. Go, save this calendar and really start to study it. But the reason I bring it up now is because if we look at what we're dealing with here, heading into the 19th, we're gonna have to deal with option expiration. Some call it OPEX, but it's basically, guys, the option expiration date. And again, why does this matter? Because that can lead, guys, to often, one, sideways action, and then also a little bit of selling pressure sometimes. So again, we want to be aware of these things and then tie them into our trading thesis, whether it's above or below, and really understand what we're working with here. So again, guys, option expiration date, really big event. Go get, familiar with it. Other big events on this calendar are quad witching, things like the reconstitutions and the rebalances. These are huge. Love this calendar. And again, these are things that I just believe most traders aren't aware of. Where again, guys, on option expiration week, you want to be very picky, you want to be very patient. The market can be very range bound. A lot of things can, go to zero, for example. So you want to know that. So keep that in mind. With that being said, let's dive into charts here. So as of recent, right, we had that big rip here in the overall market. And then we finally had a really nice pullback. Personally, for me and my system, I was focusing as I'm pulling back towards point of control, right around 46.19. And then another indicator that I love to use is the 4-hour cloud, or just the cloud altogether, but specifically here in the 4-hour chart. Was seeing if we would go down and kind of kiss that cloud region, kiss this little zone right with point of control. And that's exactly what we did. Follow me from here, guys, because this is where it gets important, right? Anytime that we pull back, and we start to create, the first bounce, the first what I call inflection point, we really want to follow the journey from there. So if you take a look, guys, right, we had that first bounce at that key zone last Wednesday. We had a really nice rally back into the end of week here. We started the week, guys, hovering around some point of control levels. We got very close to all-time high the other day, and then we're down a bit here. Pretty uneventful Wednesday session, and it really looks like the market's about to decide what it wants to do next. So again, guys, we got one bottom here, we had a second bottom here, and we pretty much got our third bottom here today, right? Really tight, making this trend line nice and valid. And if we take a look from the highs here recently, we're also starting to trend down. We hit it yesterday. If I just make this exact, put it on it. All right, guys, we pretty much hit it overnight. We hit it again today, and we're starting to form a really nice wedge. And while we're wedging, we're also starting to form some pretty decent squeezes. Right now, all we're really working with is an hourly squeeze, which at the moment is starting to trend down and still keep that squeeze intact with obviously bearish momentum. So here's how I see the market, guys, right? We have option expiration, right? We easily could continue to sit here and chop. However, we could very well do something with this trend line. And it looks like, the market's going to have to decide overnight, into the morning, if it wants to do something with this trend line, right? If it's valid, guys, and it breaks below it here into the morning, we could have a nice drop tomorrow down towards that 46.73. Because remember, with OPEX, it makes sense, guys, for the market to go down occasionally. It's just how it works. So again, guys, if we can break this beautiful uptrend, we can get right back down towards that point of control level. From there, so far, it's a dip buy, but we'll see what happens. If we keep holding here, guys, for some reason, ramp into overnight and, ramp off of it, right? We'll have to break that resistance here, which as of right now is going to be, overnight around 1 a.m. Market's going to have to make up its mind. So again, guys, let's see what happens. But with OPEX, I wouldn't be shocked to see the market just do absolutely nothing, break down and head towards that point of control, and then just consolidate. Or maybe it hits here and bounces back again. But really want to dial in on that trend line, dial in on that hourly squeeze, and dial in on this little, downtrend and uptrend. Market's going to have to make up its mind. Remember, guys, it can go right through it and not do anything. So that's always a scenario. But I would like to see if something does happen here with this trend line. So that's my thoughts on a yes. For NQ, guys, a lot of the same thoughts, right? We got that bottom here, beautiful, beautiful trend line. We've been ramping higher. For tech, we could drop through it tomorrow and head back down towards point of control as well, right? We've all been rallying. We all got close to all-time high, and now we're all starting to pull back a bit. Really want to dial in, guys, on 2 levels here in NQ. Well, 3 levels, rather. All-time high, 16,340, which is a POC level, and then the 16,192. Or again, guys, if we reject and break these trend lines, I want to see it drop down towards that 16,192, that point of control, right back down towards that, 145 range, just like we supported on Tuesday. Or again, guys, maybe we pull back towards it and then we start to rip here and bounce and get back towards all-time high. So really keep an eye on technology. If we take a look at today's session, they were the strongest index, out of a bloody day where, the Russell here got pretty smashed down 1.36. We got YM down 0.65 and tech, guys, pretty close to flat with ES down a little bit here. So it is relatively the strongest. And that's why its trend line, looks a little bit different where ES is about to break. But really pay attention, guys, to tech because ES can break and send tech down to it. But see if tech starts to bounce at theirs first and become nice support. Or if it breaks with it, well, then it's going to help the market just tug it right back down. And then we see. So again, guys, to wrap up here on tech, watch that 340, 192, and all the zones that you see in this chart, but all about this trend line. Do we get to it and bounce, or do we get to it and keep breaking down? We're going to find out. One last thing, guys, I want to talk about before we dive in here is VIX, right? I always love my VIX levels. They keep us on the right side of the trade. What you want to focus on for this week, guys, is 17, 22, 18, and 16, where if we hold 16, the market can roll over, right? And if we reject 1722, the market can continue to bounce. So we started here on Friday, right, guys? Breaking 1722 and dropping down towards 16. So the market breaks out. Market gap down on Monday and VIX gaps up to 17 and we reject it. So the market starts to rally, right, guys? Market rallies all day yesterday, and then VIX gets near 16 and then it starts to turn around. Right, I hope this makes sense, guys. Go really study VIX. Pull this up real quick. Go study VIX in this relationship because again, you can see. I hate how my chart got changed. Right, we rally all day yesterday. We get right near all-time high as VIX gets near 16, and so VIX takes the trip to the next key level, and that's when the market here goes down to its key levels. I love using VIX here, guys. So again, really want to dial in on the 1722, where if we break through 1722, right, and we head towards 18, we're going to head lower. We're going to break that trend line, or we're going to continue to drop. Or if we do reject the 17 level and head right back down, right, guys, it's probably going to be a trend line bounce. I hope that makes sense. So keep a close eye on VIX, right, guys? Journey down, which means up for the market, and then the journey up here means down for the market. One of the best inverses. Love, love, love these simple levels. So sticking, guys, got a few setups here. Again, want to be picky with OPEX, picky with the option expiration, and just picky with where the market is, right? We got a little bit of a pullback on very, very extended markets, and now I'm just kind of lingering near the highs. Definitely look like we're slightly topping out here. So I really want to focus on this trend line. I think that's going to put us in the right direction. So first setup, guys, is VIX. Obviously I'm looking to play the market, whether you're trading futures, SPX, up or down, based on what I had shared. But the few other setups, guys, one is Google. So if we take a look at Google here, has been starting to wedge decently. And, at the moment, the wedge is becoming a little invalid. But we had a nice little bottom here last week off the mean. We bounced at point of control. Then we bounced again here today, giving us 3 little inflection points. So if we just extend that, guys, that's going to be really important to see if Google breaks below and then starts to head lower here. But if we really just keep it simple and, actually remove these trend lines for a minute, Google's been, just kind of hanging out, right? When it's hanging out, guys, it's just setting up. At the moment, it got into a 2-hour squeeze with pretty bearish momentum the entire time, right? Had this 2969 key level, which is point of control, acting as pretty big resistance. We ripped to it last week, gapped above it here on Monday, and then ever since we've gotten below it, we cannot get back through it, right? We reject it, reject it, reject it, reject it, reject it. That's not what you want to see for a bullish case scenario here. However, right, there's always a little fight. As long as Google holds 29.44, I'm going to continue to be bullish on it, but I am going to be patient on it. Continue, guys, to watch it, trend down here. It's becoming a little invalid because, you put it on this wick and it breaks it. You put it on this wick and it breaks it. You got to keep moving it. I don't like doing that. But as long as it holds 29.44, right, we still got a 2-hour squeeze here. Got a pretty tight hourly as well. If they can start to crack through that point of control, right, through this 29.76, I would love to see a push on Google this week, back up towards that 29.85, up towards 3,000, right? Get you back up towards that key zone. Or maybe, guys, it just goes sideways this week. It gets tighter and tighter and tighter. But the fact that it's slightly trending down, right, starting to bottom here and continue to hold a key level, I like it. However, it's got to get through point of control. If it can't get through POC, it's not going anywhere. So I do want to be patient on it, but has an ATR here of about 54 points. So again, guys, if this thing can just wake up one good day, whether tech rips, whatever it might be, Google can get towards 3,000. And the way that the options are structured, you're going to get a heck of a return if it gets there. So I don't mind, potentially allocating some risk here at the lows, seeing if it can get there, right? If you bought the dip here off this key level today, it went up, I think, like 200% in some contracts before the move actually even started. So again, guys, if we can get something cheap and it looks good and we can start to gauge the sentiment in the market, I love Google back towards 3K. And so if we look at the option chain here, my favorite strike, guys, is 3K, right? If you can grab these around $2-3, whatever it might be, they truly can rip towards 10, 15, 20 towards the end of week. We still got Thursday and Friday. Love, love, love this setup. Just depends what the market does. And obviously depends what Google does. But if it continues to hold, look for that spike in momentum. Look for that day of accumulation. So far, they haven't been buying Google this week. Tech had a big day on Tuesday, and Google went nowhere. That's a sign to leave it alone. This morning it, kissed POC and got rejected. That's a sign to kind of leave it alone. And it's still just sitting here. But it looks like it's going to make a move soon. So personally, one of my favorite setups here. Another one, guys, is Shopify. So love Shopify because it's trying to fire a weekly squeeze, right? We have beautiful momentum shifting. We still got tight compression. We had a beautiful earnings report last week, 2 weeks ago. And then we exploded here on Friday. Huge rip, getting towards that all-time high, breaking it of 1650. And ever since then, guys, we've kind of just been coiling. On Monday, we bounced off that zone and made a new all-time high. Tuesday, we bounced off that zone and we made another new all-time high. Well, today, we kind of just consolidate on that zone. However, we're starting to get into a 2-hour squeeze here. Here we go. Love this, love this, love this. So at the moment, it is a little bit bearish. But again, I love to, look to buy low, guys, on bullish setups, especially a weekly squeeze and a 2-hour squeeze. So again, be patient on Shop, guys. We're starting to get a little bit of a downtrend here. If it can just continue to hold this 50 and 32 range and start to pop, I think it's another name that could have an explosive end of week, right? As long as it holds its intraday squeezes and those start to release, it's going to continue to fire that bigger picture weekly squeeze. And that's when things really start to get interesting. However, if it does, guys, start to break below this key zone, it could head back down towards 1540, which in that case, you could consider shorting it. But with the weekly squeeze, I would like to see if it can, turn around and go long. So this week, buying at the zone has not, treated me wrong. It's worked every time. So, beautiful dip buy on Monday, beautiful dip buy on Tuesday, kind of just chilled here today. Let's see if we get another dip buy tomorrow, heading back up towards those highs. And again, eventually, potentially firing that 2-hour squeeze. Where I like to focus on, guys, is getting really good entries, right? Where my risk is very low and my reward is very high. So if we buy off this key zone, right, call your risk profile this big, right? This small little square. That's all we're really risking here. But if we're right on the trade, it can work, guys, all the way up to the top zone very easily. So you have a reward profile like this and a risk profile like this. And those are types of trades that I like to take. I don't want to wait for shop to break it, run, and then buy it. That's stupid. So again, if it just can hold here, guys, I think it's worth a little bit of risk to see if it can hold, break out, and reverse. So if we look at some options here on the shop, again, has an ATR of about 64, 65 points. So again, guys, one good day, this thing can be back towards 1700. I love this. And speaking of that, the 1700s are my favorite strike. Other than that, guys, I wouldn't go further than 1750. I like the 1750s, 1730s. And then again, the 1700s, my favorite strike. So kind of similar, guys, to Google. Needs a market support. This one is definitely stronger than Google because it's got a weekly squeeze, but nice little downtrend, nice little hold. Let's see if we can get that pop back. Love it, love it, love it. And the final name here, guys, we'll have to check, but I want to see if NVIDIA has reported earnings yet. And it looks like it's starting to move here, but it doesn't look like they have reported earnings. They're supposed to report. So this is what I wanted to talk about, guys, but it doesn't look like they have reported yet. So what I will say is stick around because they probably will report, or by the time that you're watching and listening to this video, they will have already reported. But I really, guys, want to pay close attention to this one. It's been making a huge move in their earnings. It's been getting kind of repriced here and holding up really nicely. And I would love to see if, the move on earnings is already priced in and they drop it right back down towards 280, 275. Or if it's great and they start to rip this thing back towards 314. But again, I was hoping that they would report. They were supposed to report after the bell. Looks like it's going to be a little bit more time here. So obviously I can't sit in the mic, but thank you guys as always for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some value. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and go finish the week strong. Appreciate your time, guys, and I'll talk to you next video.
Hey, Focus Chan here with Simpler Trading. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything that we do. And if you want to see us trade our money live in real time, go to simplertrading.com and you can sign up for more. But happy trading, guys. Stay focused, and I'll talk to you in the next video.